On my TOS, I'm using the price level draw tool. And this is going to draw that straight horizontal line for you at the price point. I'm looking at the daily chart right now for OCGN.
Mm-hmm.
For support levels, I am looking to where the stock has pulled to and then bounced from at least multiple times. So right off the bat, just by visually, I can see that this sort of area here is a powerful support level. Would you agree, Arya?
Absolutely.
And it
If
also
you break
coincides
your
with a gap level here.
hmm
See it? Sorry, go ahead.
So when you say powerful, basically, just so everybody understands, it's powerful on both sides. Uh,
Yes.
uh, it's strong support, and then if it poops out, it's usually like, you have to just be very cautious. You want to get out, and then, like, this is how I personally trade. Like, I rather get out of that break of that strong support you're showing us, and then enter once it's over it or something based on a different indicator. But it's much safer to get out of when a strong support like that, because you have to think about the psychology of these people. So you look at a chart, just try to remember, or try to rehearse as much as you can, like a storyline, like, okay, these people are happy here, they bought at this price, these people bought at this price, because you see these bounces. So you have so many people buying at this level, and not everyone will is in it to endure pain. So they have what, like a couple percent, something very small stop loss, and that's why if it breaks, like, stop losses start to trigger. So a wonderful point.
Yeah, and it's important to note too that I think that if you're when you're doing your stop loss, you want to put it a little bit below support, not right at support, because that's just kind of
Yeah,
asking to be a part of one of those stop loss raids. But
definitely.
once you start mapping out the support and resistance, it's so much easier to see the channels within that a stock is trading at that time. And you want to definitely look for gap levels in the daily chart. Those are powerful as well when we're talking about algorithm trading. Um, that data is input there, and we all know that stocks tend to fill gaps in the daily chart.
Good job. Yeah.
So, does anyone have any questions on support or resistance so far? You can unmute yourselves, by the way. Like, all you have to do is click the little microphone on the bottom left hand side, and you can unmute yourself.
Yes, hi. I just had a
Hi.
question. Like, hello. Thank you for doing this on a Friday night, and we're all here. Um, that top support level, or resistance level, um, I just want to see where you're getting that from. I see, like why you're saying that's a resistance level.
Mhm. Yeah, so if you look here, I'm looking at a couple of points. My line might be a little off, but I was seeing this gap right here in the daily chart.
Hmm.
And I was trying to kind of get it at the bottom of this candle, but it's not quite exact. So let me do it again. Um, so I'm identifying that, and then I can see here that it's touched it before and fallen from that level. If you look
Okay.
at it over here, now you don't have to be exact. This is giving you an area, like a level area.
Hmm. Okay.
So that's where I'm getting it, and you can see too that it's touched it multiple times and then fallen from there. So that indicates that that's a pretty strong resistance point right now.
Okay. Like it wouldn't be those. How you have those, like, there are those bars that are like really thin on the top, like that.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like.
Oh, the wick.
Yeah, yeah, like those wicks, like that looks like a resistance level because that's hit it 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Yeah. So this is another one. I didn't go through and mark them all.
Okay.
So the
I'm
body
just.
of the candle is going to give you where more of the price action is. So a lot of traders will rely
Okay.
on that more heavily than the wick. But yeah,
Hmm.
you would use this level too. I mean, exactly like you're saying. I was just mapping out a few of them. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different levels on a stock. You just want to see kind of your main ones, and especially ones that are closer to where the price is at that time, because those are going to be more relevant to you at the time.
I'm not questioning you. I'm just trying to understand, like, because I know, like algos, they program these levels in. So I'm just trying to figure out like the best way that people look at it. Like in terms of what a support and a resistance would be. It may not necessarily be the way that I look at it. So
that's actually a very good question. Because it's not just it's a lot of people get confused, like, why is my trend line different than yours, my support resistance different than yours? And of course, like, I think the best fit one is usually the one, like Erica said, that touches the most points. And the second scenario you want to look for is like she said, like where it's a support resistance. So it's not hard to draw a trend line, but sometimes you want to also like incorporate your own delicacy to it, where you say like, okay, I feel like if I was a short right here, I'd feel very comfortable. I wouldn't exit my position over here. Like, I'm sure if this price right now stays below this, everybody like me that feels so comfortable being a short. Sorry, I know that sometimes being a short is a bad thing, but especially people who trade small caps, but it's only riding waves. Let me just get in there so you understand how everything is just basically technical, and it's riding the waves really. So you don't want to be too off with your subjectiveness at all. Like, you want to be as objective as possible, following for example, as for resistance, following like the most peaks and the peak that was previously support. That's a big one. But you also you want to tweak it just a little bit, like psychologically, like, okay, this is the one. Like, if you want to find a strong one, like, you want to feel it.
Yeah, a lot of psychology comes into it as well when you're looking at most people will put their buy and sell orders at those they're often referred to as like psych levels, which are end in 0 or 5. And then also remember that the other side is always waiting to knock you down at these support or resistance levels. So what I do in like a day trade is, let me just pull up the 5-minute. Basically, like up here, I see that it breaks above, and I am waiting for it to pull back to retest and hold or fail. If it fails below here, if I was trading options, then I would buy puts. If it starts to bounce from here, then that's an indication that it's going to have a move higher, and that's when I would buy calls on it. So you want to wait to see how the price action reacts to it. Not necessarily like put your buy exactly at the support level, because oftentimes, like, as you'll see here, it broke above, but then it couldn't hold. So if you were just buying right in here, if I can zoom in on that, if you were buying right in here, then I mean, you have like this one candle before it just starts failing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else have questions?
Thank you, whoever was on. I love that you're a lady trader, and I love that you raised a very good question. Sometimes we feel like our question might be, I don't know, like judgmental, but it would never be judgmental towards professional trader, because either they've done it or they've heard it. They've heard it. They know. I mean, we don't come out of our mom's wombs knowing how to trade. So, like, if you're asking a question from someone who's not a scam, they basically only understand, and they get excited because they had to work through that, and now they get to share it.
Yeah, and that brings up a really good point. I don't think you ever stop learning, no matter how long you've been doing this. I mean, you've been here like 6 years and you're still learning new things, you know? So we're definitely always learning, but I think that...
Put it over there.
Where?
All my stuff.
Where's your stuff?
Okay, let's see. I don't know who that is.
Michael Berry.
Oh, Dr. Burry. Hello. What's your favorite indicator, sir?
Oh,
Wait, is
typing.
that him?
Yes, it is.
Howdy.
I don't know who it was before it said he was talking about his stuff. Yeah, I just jumped in. That wasn't me before that, though.
Oh, okay. Do you agree or disagree that support and resistance are very good tools to utilize?
Oh, absolutely. That as well as supply and demand zones.
Supply and demand zones, yes. Those are my favorite, but...
If you ever do see lawsuits on the stock that you have hope for, it was one of the best indicators I use, psychological indicators. When I was doing small caps and started becoming very successful. So when I was still like very new, but when I started to get better was when I would go through like seeking alpha articles real quick before I feel like, oh yeah, this stock has this amazing news and like I might hold this, like, you know, I would go and see like if they had won even like lawsuits. This is the reason I'm saying this is because it was a game changer for me and you just brought it up. If you see lawsuits on something, it's a pretty good chance that like you have to be super careful to only play the technicals or stay away from wanting to play it long because it's probably a very toxic ticker. So I just have to put that out there because for me that was like one big realization. And of course, even Apple and Microsoft have it, but if you are trading a small cap with a bad news or a lawsuit, you know, it's definitely much better to be a short than a long, but I'm not saying don't play the technicals if you know what you're doing. It's just like really get that idea in your head that there's no hope to swing and so on.
I'm back, by the way. For anyone who is curious on how to use the bots to pull up some information, Michael Burry, who's not the real Michael Burry, put it in streaming chat, an example with OCGN. So you can see how to utilize those. Also, if you wanted to look too, Aria. Want more Trader Babes? Subscribe now and connect with us on social media for exclusive content and access you won't find anywhere else. And we'll see you right here on the next unforgettable episode of Trader Babes.